Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll talk about general notes, style and stylistics. Let's start. The first, object and subject matter of stylistics, types and kinds of stylistics, expressive means and stylistic devices, style, speech functional styles, and individual styles. Today's lecture is closely connected on these topics. The first one, stylistics, is a unique discipline. It studies the units of all language levels, from the phonological to textual ones. Stylistics is interested in functioning of both stylistically colored and syntactically neutral units in communication. The subject matter of stylistics is studying the means of realization of the main and additional functions of the language that make speech activity and effective. Language functions, what are they? Cognitive, reflective, nominative, communicative, volitional, emotive, appealing or attracting attention, fatigue, establishing contact, and social ethic and aesthetic. The aim of communication is to influence the speaker, to change the emotional, physical state of the addressee. This pragmatic aim is achieved when the speaker uses different language units, gestures, intonation, which would largely depend on the situation. Stylistics is the linguistic discipline which studies nominative and communicative language units and the principle of these units, selections and combinations for the sake of achieving some pragmatic aim in different communicative situations. Stylistics is concerned with such issues. The first one, the aesthetic function of the language. The second one, expressive means in language. The third one, synonymous ways of rendering one and the same idea. The fourth one, emotional coloring in language. The fifth one, a system of special devices, called stylistic devices. The sixth one, the splitting of the literary language into a separate system called style. The seventh, the individual manner of an author making use of the language. The object of stylistics is versatile and multidimensional. It's essential that we look at the object of stylistics study as a holistic one composed of several inseparable parts. Stylistics and discourse analysis, a contribution is analyzing literature, said by Zulfikar Ahmed. Types and kinds of stylistics, which are they? Linguostylistics, functional stylistics, stylistic lexicology, stylistic phonetics or phonostylistics, stylistic grammar, stylistic semasiology or rhetorics, literary stylistics, discourse stylistics, genetic stylistics, decoding stylistics, immanent stylistics, comparative stylistics. These are types of stylistics. Literary and linguostylistics have some meeting points. The first one, literary language from the point of view of variability. The second, the idiolects, individual speech of a writer. The third, poetic speech that has its own specific language. Comparative stylistics is connected with the contrastive study of more than one language. It analyzes the stylistic resources not inherent in a separate language, but at the crossroads of two languages or two literatures, and is obviously linked to the theory of translation. Linguostylistics, it studies functional styles in their development and current state, the linguistic nature of the expressive means of the language in their systematic character and their functions. Functional stylistics is a branch of linguistics that studies functional styles, that is, special sublanguages or varieties of the language, such as scientific, colloquial, and business, and publicist, and etc. Stylistic lexicology studies the semantic structure of the word and the interrelation of connotative and denotative meanings of the word, as well as the interrelation of the stylistic connotations of the word and the context. Stylistic phonetics or phonostylistics is engaged in the study of the style-forming phonetic feature of the text. It describes the periodic feature of prose and poetry and pronunciation. Stylistic grammar, stylistic morphology is interested in the stylistic potential of specific grammatical forms and categories, such as the number of the noun, tense forms of the verb. The stylistic syntax has to do with the expressive order of words, types of syntactic links, figures of speech. It also deals with bigger units from paragraphs onwards. Stylistic semiology, rhetorics, considers additional meanings of linguistic units, use it as expressive means and stylistic devices of the language. Their interaction and change they undergo in fiction and non-fiction texts. Literary stylistics, genetic stylistics, studied by Leo Spitzer, 18th and 87th to 1960s years. From the author's point of view, considers the epoch, the historical situation, the personal, political, social, and aesthetic view of the author. Decoding stylistics studied by Sherba and Arnold. From the reader's point of view, disregards the background knowledge and gets the maximum information from the text itself. And the immanent stylistics, Jacobson and Winokur, studied an attempt to harmoniously combine the two methods of linguistic research. Literary stylistics, the composition of a work of art, various literary genres, the writer's outlook, David Crystal, 1918, and Widowson, 1992. Expressive means and stylistic devices. In linguistics, there are different terms to denote those particular means by which a writer obtains his effect. Expressive means, stylistic means, and stylistic devices and other terms are all used indiscriminately. All stylistic means are divided into expressive means and stylistic devices. Expressive means are those phonetic means, morphological forms, means of word building, lexical forms, phraseological forms, syntactical forms, all of which function in the language for emotional or logical intensification of the utterance. The most powerful expressive means of any language and phonetic. The human voice can indicate subtle nuances of meaning, melody, stress, whispering, pausation, intonation, and other ways of using the voice are more effective than any other means in intensifying the utterance emotionally or logically. Among the morphological expressive means, the use of the present indefinite instead of the past indefinite must be mentioned first. It is named the historical present. In describing some past event, the author uses the present tense thus achieving a more vivid picture of what was going on. Or the use of shall in the second and the third person may also be regarded as an expressive means. Compare the following synonymous statements. The first, he shall do it. I shall make him do it. Threat. Second example, he has to do it. It's necessary for him to do it. Among word-building means, we find many forms which serve to make the utterance more expressive and fresh. The diminutive suffixes as y or let, example, dry, streamlet, add some emotional coloring to the words. At the lexical level, there are a great many words which, due to their inner expressiveness, constitute a special layer. There are words with emotive meaning only, like interjections. For example, oh, ah, wow. Words which will retain a twofold meaning, denotative meaning or connotative meaning. Words belong to special groups of literary English or standard non-English, poetic, archaic, and slang words. An expressive power of these words cannot be doubted, especially when they are compared with the neutral vocabulary. Physiological level, the same can be said of the set expressions of the language when it leads our farewell party in my speech. For example, I have got a frog in my throat. Proverbs and sayings, as well as catchwords, idioms, form a considerable number of language units which serve to make speech more emphatic. For example, in everyday speech, you often hear such phrases as I will only add fuel to the fire, which can easily be replaced by synonymous neutral expressions like I will only make the situation worse. At a syntactical level, there are many constructions which, being set against synonyms, once will reveal a certain degree of logical and emotional emphasis. For example, I have never seen such a film. Never have I seen such a film. Mr. Smith came in first. It was Mr. Smith who came in first. The second structure in each pair contains emphatic elements. They cause intensification of the utterance. There are many other syntactical patterns which serve to intensify emotional quality. Isn't she pretty? Fool that he was? And so on. Stylistic device is a format in speech due to a linear relations format in the text or utterance between stylistically marked and stylistically unmarked units of a lower level within a unit of a higher level. Interplay of dictionary and contextual meaning is based on the principle of affinity. My new dress is as pink as this flower. Comparison. The next point is about functional styles. Functional style is a system of interrelated language means serving a definite aim in communication. It's the coordination of the language means the stylistic devices which shapes the distinctive features of each style and not the language means or stylistic devices themselves. Each style, however, can be recognized by one or more leading features which are especially conspicuous. The style of language can be defined as a system of coordinated, interrelated, and intercoordinated language means intended to fulfill a specific function of a communication and aiming at a defined effect. A style of language is a historical category. The English literary system has evolved a number of styles easily distinguishable one from another. They are not homogeneous and fall into several variants of having some central point of resemblance, or better to say, all integrated by the invariant, the abstract ideal system. A functional style of language is a system of interrelated language means which serves a definite aim in communication, said by Galperin. It appears mainly in the literary standard of language. According to Ilya Romanovich Galperin, there are 5 styles in English languages. The first one, belles lettres style, publicistic style, newspaper style, scientific prose style, and last one is official document style. According to Arnold, there are 4 styles in English language: poetic style, scientific style, newspaper style, and colloquial style. According to U. Skrebnev, style is a specified of sublanguage. The number of language sublanguages and styles is infinite. Thank you for your attention. If you liked my video, press like button and subscribe my channel. Bye.